The truth about a woman who lives alone without a man. Inspired by Carl Jung's vision of the individuated woman. There is something quietly powerful, almost mythical, about a woman who lives alone. Not because she is lonely, not because she has no one, but because she has, at long last, chosen herself. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, believed that true wholeness only comes when a person unites both their conscious self and their deeper, unconscious self. And for a woman living alone, truly alone, without a man to complete her or define her, this process becomes not only possible, but necessary. She is not defined by her relationships, she defines herself. A woman who lives without a man has stopped waiting for someone else to validate her existence. She no longer measures her worth by the roles society gave her: wife, lover, caretaker, the other half. Instead, she has stepped into her full identity, not as someone's partner, but as her own whole being. She is no longer half of anything. She is complete. She faces the mirror of herself and doesn't look away. Living alone doesn't just mean sleeping in a quiet house. It means confronting your thoughts without distraction, your fears without escape, and your longings without compromise. But through that solitude, something extraordinary happens. She learns to be her own witness, her own comfort, her own compass. She becomes intimate with her soul. That kind of inner knowing is rare, and it changes everything. She has power because she is free. Carl Jung believed that those who individuate, who break free from the expectations of others and follow the truth of their inner self, become like gods. That is why he said, "A woman who lives alone is either a wild animal or a god." Not because she is inhuman, but because she is no longer bound by human conventions. She does not perform. She does not appease. She simply is. She is a threat to the system, and a beacon for others. A woman who lives alone and loves her life is threatening, not because she is dangerous, but because she is free. She dismantles the lie that women must be chosen to be worthy. She shows that joy, wisdom, sensuality, creativity, none of them require a man's permission. Other women see her and begin to ask themselves, what if I didn't need anyone to make me whole? What if I claimed space, silence, softness, all for me? She is not alone, because she can't be with a man. She is alone because she no longer needs to be completed by one. And that is the difference. She may still love, still flirt, still fall into someone's arms from time to time. But she does it from abundance, not need. Her solitude is not an absence of love. It is the presence of wholeness. The final truth? A woman who lives alone isn't less. She is often more rooted, more fearless, more awake. She doesn't need noise to feel alive. She has found her own voice, and it sings in silence. In Jungian terms, she has individuated. In human terms, she has come home. She doesn't belong to anyone. She belongs to herself. In a world that often teaches women to belong to someone, a father, a husband, a family, the woman who lives alone reclaims a forgotten truth. She belongs only to herself. Her space is hers. Her time is hers. Her decisions, her silence, her little rituals of tea and reading and morning walks, these are sacred. Not because anyone else calls them sacred, but because she does. This is not selfishness. This is sovereignty. She has made peace with the darkness and learned to dance in the light. Living alone isn't always easy. There are nights when the silence feels too loud and memories whisper through the halls. But instead of running from that shadow, she sits with it. She listens to what her loneliness is trying to teach her. And over time, she transforms it. Her solitude becomes strength. Her silence becomes clarity. Her pain becomes purpose. She doesn't just survive her solitude. She blossoms in it. She becomes a mirror for the world. Have you noticed? People often project their fears onto a woman who lives alone. Some say she must be bitter. Others say she must be cold. Some assume she couldn't find love. while others quietly envy the peace in her eyes. But she doesn't react. She doesn't need to explain. Because her life is no longer built on being understood. It's built on being true. She mirrors back to others the things they haven't yet dared to claim in themselves. Freedom, stillness, self-trust. The kind of courage that doesn't shout, only radiates. She is the wild feminine, unfiltered and unapologetic. Carl Jung believed deeply in the power of the archetypal feminine. The mother, the mystic, the wild woman, the wise elder. The woman who lives alone begins to embody all of these at once. She is not confined to one role or one season. She is fire and river, root and wind. She is who she wants to be, today, and again tomorrow. And that kind of woman? She doesn't need to rebel, because she already escaped. And one day, if love comes, she welcomes it differently. If she meets someone, if love shows up again, she does not surrender her wholeness. She doesn't shrink to fit into someone else's life. Instead, she invites them into the world she's built, not as a savior, not as a rescuer, but as a guest, a witness, a companion on a path that she already walks with grace. Love becomes a dance, not a dependency, and that makes it freer, deeper, truer. The woman who lives alone is not waiting. She's already arrived. There is no longing in her silence, no emptiness in her independence. She's not half of anything. She's the whole story. And whether she's sipping tea by the window, writing poetry at midnight, or simply breathing in the stillness of her own home, she is living proof that a woman can live alone and still be surrounded by beauty, by wisdom, and most of all, by herself. She is not just alone. She is aligned. There's a moment in every woman's life when she stops searching outward and begins listening inward. The woman who lives alone has reached that moment. She no longer needs approval to feel secure. She no longer needs applause to feel seen. She lives in alignment with who she is, not who she was told to be. This alignment brings a quiet kind of joy. Not loud or showy, but steady, like a river that knows exactly where it's going. She may not post it. She may not shout it. But her presence tells you everything. She has arrived. She teaches us that love is not a destination. It's a state of being. In her solitude, she has discovered a radical truth. Love is not something you find. Love is something you become. She doesn't wait to be loved. She is love. In the way she cares for her body, her space, her mind. In the way she speaks gently to herself. In the way she forgives her past and walks into each new day with grace. She's not incomplete. She's overflowing. And when she gives love now, it's not to fill a hole. It's to share her abundance. The final revelation? She is her own home. She has built her world with intention. Soft corners, warm colors, books that understand her, music that makes her soul exhale. And in that space, physical and spiritual, she realizes something. She is not waiting for someone to come make it feel like home. Because she is the home. Wherever she is, peace follows. She has become what so many chase all their lives, a woman at peace with herself. So, who is the woman who lives alone without a man? She is not broken. She is not bitter. She is not less. She is complete. She is sovereign. She is divine. She is the wise one, the wild one, the one who broke the pattern and bloomed in silence. And to every woman who walks a similar path, know this. You are not alone in your solitude. You are walking beside countless women, past, present, and future, who chose wholeness over halfness and found, in the quiet, the most powerful love of all, the one you give to yourself. Signs of a woman who has spiritually awakened after 60. There's something quietly powerful about a woman who awakens after 60. She no longer chases the life she was told she should want. She's no longer afraid of her reflection, or of the silence in her home. She has met herself fully, and found something sacred there. Here are the signs that a woman has spiritually awakened in the second season of her life. 1. She listens more to her inner voice than the outer world. When the noise of the world fades, something else rises. Her intuition. Clear, calm, certain. She no longer needs validation from others. She trusts the soft whisper inside. Whether it's deciding where to go, who to let in, or what to release, she doesn't overthink. She knows. And this knowing doesn't come from books or advice. It comes from living. 2. She embraces the seasons, in nature and in herself. She doesn't fear aging. She sees beauty in every wrinkle, like rings on a wise tree. She no longer fights time. She dances with it. Just as spring turns to summer, and summer into fall, she understands that every season in life brings its own kind of power. She is not trying to be her 30-year-old self. She is too busy becoming her most authentic self. 3. She is at peace with not being understood. She has stopped explaining herself. She doesn't feel the need to convince, defend, or justify her choices. Why? Because she's finally comfortable with being misunderstood. She knows who she is, and that is enough. This peace is magnetic. Others feel it, even if they can't name it. They call her mysterious. But really, she is simply free. 4. She finds sacredness in the everyday. To her, beauty isn't found in grand events. It's in the quiet rituals. Lighting a candle at dusk, watering her plants, writing thoughts in her journal by a window, savoring a warm cup of tea in silence. Everything becomes intentional. Everything becomes holy. 5. She radiates a calm, grounded energy. She walks into a room, and the energy shifts. Not because she's loud, but because she's present. Her calm is not the absence of storms. It's the wisdom of someone who has already survived them. She no longer reacts. She responds. She no longer clings. She allows. 6. She lives aligned, not just alive. She doesn't need a full calendar to feel fulfilled. She doesn't measure her worth by productivity. Her goal isn't to be busy, it's to be true. She lives in alignment with what feels right in her body, her heart, her soul. That's why her joy feels different, more rooted, more real. 7. She has reclaimed her spiritual power. She doesn't need a title or a doctrine to be spiritual. Whether she prays, meditates, dances, or simply walks among the trees, she is connected to something larger, to Source, to the divine, to herself. And in that connection, she finds something the world can't take away: peace, clarity, and an unshakable sense of who she is. How to reclaim your feminine energy without a relationship. There's a myth that says a woman needs a man to feel feminine. But the truth is, feminine energy isn't something given to you by another. It's something that already lives inside you, waiting to be remembered. And after 60, when the noise quiets and the masks fall, many women discover that their most radiant feminine self has been there all along, beneath the roles, the expectations, the years of giving and pleasing. Here's how a woman reclaims that sacred energy, with or without a relationship. 1. She slows down and starts feeling again. Feminine energy thrives in presence, not pressure. It's not about rushing from task to task. It's about savoring. She allows herself to move slowly, to breathe deeply, to notice how the sunlight hits her skin in the morning, how the breeze feels on her walk, how her body reacts to joy or to pain. By slowing down, she reconnects to the world through her senses. And through that, her femininity begins to bloom again. 2. She creates beauty just for herself. She doesn't wait for a romantic dinner to wear something beautiful. She doesn't wait for company to light the candles or put on music. She is the occasion. Whether it's wearing silk pajamas, putting on lipstick just because, or decorating her home with flowers. She creates beauty, not for attention, but as an act of self-respect, of self-love. This quiet devotion to beauty is deeply feminine and deeply empowering. 3. She learns to receive again. For decades, many women are in giving mode, raising children, building careers, caring for others. But feminine energy isn't just about giving. It's also about receiving, with grace. She allows herself to be cared for, to accept help, to say yes to joy without guilt. She realizes receiving is not weakness. It's a strength that keeps her soft, open, and alive. 4. She expresses her emotions without shame. Feminine energy is emotional, intuitive, flowing. It cries, it laughs, it feels deeply. Instead of bottling up her feelings, she allows them to move through her like waves, without judgment. She may cry in her kitchen. She may laugh out loud at the memory of a moment from 1978. She honors her emotions because she knows they are sacred messengers of her soul. 5. She dances, moves, and lives in her body. Feminine energy lives in the body, not in the mind. So she moves, not to shrink herself, but to celebrate herself. She may dance in her living room, stretch in the sun, walk barefoot in her garden, or simply place her hand over her heart and breathe. Every moment she spends inside her body is a moment of remembering. This is my home. This is where my power lives. 6. She redefines femininity on her own terms. She doesn't chase youth to feel feminine. She embraces her softness, her wisdom, her sensuality as it is now. She may be silver-haired, curvy, lean, scarred, wrinkled, but she knows her femininity is not about appearance. It's about how she carries herself, how she speaks to herself, how she connects to life. She is feminine energy because she chooses to